I'm talking to one of our regional directors, Gerry Lawrence. Gerry, you've been running a lot of presentations recently to CEOs about AI, and one of the things that they persistently ask about is why now? Can you talk a bit about that?
Yes. In fact, the concept of AI has really been kicking around since World War II, when Alan Turing was deciding that it would be a really cool thing to develop a machine that would help decode the Enigma machine. And since then, many scientists and mathematicians have been working on that. But actually, over the past few years, the science hasn't necessarily increased much further. But what has happened is a massive investment has gone into AI. And we decided that by dumping huge amounts of cash into this, we could make the models bigger, we could get much bigger training data sets engaged, and essentially allow these AI models to train in a much more extensive way than they've ever been able to before.
So, a lot of the reason is now is simply the fact that people, as you say, have dumped enormous amounts of cash and data into this problem and moved things on, and it's getting even faster.
It is. And in fact, if you look at some of the technologies that have been in the news recently, either the text generating tools or, of course, the image generating tools, visually, it's really interesting to see the change over even a single year that has happened. The quality of image generation has just improved massively, to the extent that it's now very hard to tell the difference between an AI generated image versus a real one.
One of the central parts of your presentation is a fork in the road for their businesses between a standard approach and a bespoke or a custom approach. Can you talk a bit more about that fork in the road?
Yes, so there's definitely two approaches. And the standard approach is one where there are many companies, the companies that we all know and use a lot, like Microsoft, Salesforce, Adobe. These companies are all building in AI functionality into their tools just as part of the product set. And some of that functionality is really compelling and really useful, and in a lot of ways, very easy to use.
And so to adopt that kind of standard functionality, what would the CEO of a mid-market business do?
So the important thing is to look at the people who are using that software and make sure that they understand that these new versions are coming out, or that there are new tools within that software that they could have access to. And the first thing is just inform them, make sure they know it's there. And then, I mean, somebody who's a real hardcore Photoshop user will then, the moment they have that new version, they'll usually be able to figure out how to use it. But for other people, you may need to guide them and give them some examples of the best ways to use that new tech, rather than just leave it to people just Googling it for themselves.
So for the CEO, it's about creating enthusiasm and about creating a sense of excitement about adopting these new tools. And then the other side of the coin is the custom approach.
Yeah, so often when you do custom or bespoke software development, there are really big gains to be had. And this is no different. There are AI tools that you can use to solve very specific problems within your business. And so there may not be a standard tool available for that, but it could well be that the rewards for developing that are just way, way bigger. And that's the point. If you have a particular issue that has a really significant value outcome, then it may well be worth looking at a customized software solution.
And for a mid-market business, is that kind of approach affordable?
Well, the cost of this has just been coming down and down. So the big companies such as Microsoft and Amazon with their AWS service have been bringing out AI services that one can use that are actually much cheaper than they used to be. So this is all becoming a lot more affordable. So it could well be that if you talk to an expert, they'll be able to guide you and show you that it's maybe not as expensive as you thought it was going to be.
One of the biggest questions for CEOs of mid-market businesses is, where do I start with this in my business? How do I move forward? How do you answer that question, Gerry?
Well, the first thing is to look at every business as its own individual, unique business. And the best place to start is to look inwards at your business and see where are the biggest issues, the biggest costs, the largest departments. Often those are going to be the areas to delve into first, because the chances are there'll be more value to be generated by any kind of enhancement and automation. we've also found that there are certain areas that at the moment have been quite generically useful across many, many different companies. So you take particular departments such as client or customer services, sales teams, marketing departments. Those have all found really good applications that have helped them move forward, and relatively quickly, with technology that exists today and is often quite simple to implement. Another way of looking at it is that there are certain tools out there in the AI world that have just recently become very, very good. So if you take a tool approach and effectively look from the outside in, you would see that at the moment, there's been a lot of talk and a lot of development in the ability to generate and understand, say, words and generate and understand pictures. And those are already now very mature and very usable. So applications that use that are going to be possible and useful. Video and sound are catching up very quickly, and every week I see improvements in those. And so soon it'll be right across the board. But there are other areas that have also been having a lot of extra experience and extra development, such as the ability to do really good knowledge bases. Recommendation systems have been around for some time. If you take Netflix and Amazon, their whole businesses are based around the ability to recommend. But being able to do a recommendation system for even a smaller business now is actually quite affordable and possible.
So 2 parallel avenues then. One is starting with my business. Where are the opportunities? Where are the issues? And looking from that position. The other is to say, what are these new technologies and how can they give us ideas for improvements we hadn't even thought of?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just only going to get easier as these things are developed. And so the best thing is to find where those two things collide. So look at your business, find the best areas where you can generate the most value, and make sure that that does actually overlap with the AI tools and which of them are mature enough and good enough to be able to produce a really good solution in that area. And in doing that, you'll find a really valuable outcome.
Very good. Thank you very much indeed, Gerry.